My dear friends, in this fast moving world, our minds have become like crowded marketplaces, noisy, restless, and constantly bargaining with stress. Every day we wake up with dozens of thoughts already running a marathon inside our head. But the truth is very simple. A calm mind is not a luxury, it is a daily practice. Peace doesn't arrive by accident, it arrives by intention. When life becomes overwhelming, it's not always the situation that disturbs us, it's our reaction to the situation. Two people can face the same storm, but one panics while the other stands firm. Why? Because calmness is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of inner stability, and this inner stability is built through small, simple habits practiced every single day. Imagine you enter a room filled with dust. You don't scream at the dust, you just clean it. In the same way, every morning we must dust our mind. We clean our body daily, but we forget to clean our thoughts. And then we wonder why our day feels heavy. Emotional hygiene is as important as physical hygiene. The mind is like a child. If you don't guide it, it will run toward things that exhaust you. If you train it gently, it will bring you peace. Calmness requires no expensive tools, just awareness, just presence. Just a few minutes of self-connection. Those few minutes can transform the entire quality of your day. Remember, your peace is your responsibility. If we let every situation, every comment, every person control our mood, then our happiness becomes a hostage. But if we anchor ourselves in calm habits, no matter how loud the world becomes, the quiet inside us remains untouched. So today, let us learn a few simple habits. Not dramatic ones, not complicated ones, but small acts that slowly reshape our life. The beauty of these habits is that anyone can practice them. You don't need a perfect life, you just need a willing heart. Let us begin these small practices that help us breathe better, think better, live better, and love better. Because a calm mind is not just beneficial for us, it is a gift we give to everyone around us. When your mind is calm, your words become softer, your decisions become wiser, and your relationships become sweeter. A calm mind is not something that suddenly appears in our life like a surprise guest. It is not the result of luck, nor is it gifted only to a chosen few. A calm mind is a creation, an intentional, consistent practice that we cultivate day after day. Many people believe peace will come automatically when life becomes perfect, when responsibilities reduce, or when problems disappear. But life never stops presenting challenges. Even when one problem ends, another takes its place. Waiting for life to calm down before we calm our mind is like waiting for the ocean to stop having waves. It will never happen. Instead, we must learn the art of surfing through those waves with steadiness and awareness. Every morning when we wake up, our mind is like a blank canvas waiting to be painted. But often, before we pick up the brush, the world paints it for us. Messages, notifications, deadlines, past worries, future anxieties all start attacking us before we have even fully opened our eyes. And because we are not intentional, we allow these noisy thoughts to dominate our inner world. Slowly, we lose control of our mood, our energy, and our clarity. This is why calmness must be created consciously. Just as we brush our teeth and clean our body every day, we need to clean our thoughts. The habits of mental hygiene must be woven into our daily routine. Calmness is not achieved by running away from the world, but by returning to ourselves. It comes from creating small pockets of stillness in our day. But those pockets don't come automatically. You have to design them. It can be as simple as sitting quietly for 3 minutes before checking your phone, taking slow breaths while standing near a window, or spending a moment expressing gratitude before starting your work. These simple practices may seem small, but they shape the entire tone of your day. Entire tone of your day. Just as a slight shift in a compass changes the direction of a ship, small shifts in our daily habits can redirect the entire journey of our mind. The beautiful part is that anyone can develop a calm mind. You don't need special knowledge, spiritual background, or deep wisdom. You only need commitment. Calmness grows the same way a plant grows, one drop of water at a time. If you water a plant only when you feel like it, it will wither. But if you water it consistently, even in small amounts, it flourishes. In the same way, a calm mind is watered by small daily actions, simple, gentle, intentional steps that gradually reshape your inner world. When you train your mind each day, it becomes stronger, more patient, and more stable. And slowly you start noticing the difference. Situations that once irritated you no longer disturb you the same way. People who once triggered your anger no longer have the same power over you. Unexpected challenges feel more manageable because there is now quiet strength inside you. This inner strength is not the result of one big effort, but of countless small moments where you chose calmness over chaos. A calm mind is not a gift from the world. It is a gift you give yourself every day. It grows through intention, repetition, and gentle discipline. It begins the moment you decide that your peace matters, that your mental clarity matters, and that you deserve to feel balanced from within. When you remember this, every day becomes an opportunity to practice peace. One quiet breath, one mindful moment, one conscious choice at a time. Stress often enters our life not because of what happens, but because of how we interpret what happens. Two people can face the same difficulty, yet the inner experience can be completely different. One may feel overwhelmed, angry, or broken, while the other remains steady, thoughtful, and calm. The difference lies not in the situation, but in the mind's reaction to it. Life will always bring challenges. This is something we cannot change. But what we can change is how we respond. When we understand this truth deeply, stress begins to lose its power over us. Oh! Every day, our mind creates stories around events. A small comment from someone becomes a personal attack. A delay in our plan becomes a catastrophe. A minor discomfort becomes unbearable. The mind loves to exaggerate, and this exaggeration fuels stress. The mind is not trying to hurt us. It is simply conditioned to react quickly. But quick reactions often come from fear, insecurity, or old patterns, not from wisdom or clarity. When we learn to pause, observe, and respond instead of reacting, we slowly break this cycle. Stress grows in the space between what we expect and what reality presents. The wider this gap, the more tension we feel. We expect people to treat us a certain way, and when they don't, we feel hurt. We expect plans to unfold perfectly, and when delays appear, we feel irritated. We expect life to cooperate with our timeline, and when it takes a different route, we feel anxious. The truth is, life rarely moves according to our expectations. Learning to adjust our internal response is the key to reducing stress. When we accept that we cannot control every situation, but we can control our reaction, a sense of freedom begins to emerge. Many times, stress is not even about the present moment. It is a leftover emotion from yesterday or a fear about tomorrow. But the mind drags these past and future worries into the present and overwhelms us. In reality, the present moment is rarely unbearable. It is the mind's thoughts that create the heaviness. We spend so much time taking care of our bodies, brushing our teeth, washing our face, bathing, grooming, yet we often forget that our mind also needs daily cleaning. Emotional hygiene is as important as physical hygiene because just like dust settles on our skin, negativity settles on our thoughts. Every interaction, every disappointment, every fear, every worry leaves a small mark inside us. Over time, if we do not clean these emotional stains, they pile up, and suddenly we find ourselves irritated, overwhelmed, or exhausted without even knowing why. If a calm mind doesn't come from ignoring this inner dirt, it comes from clearing it out regularly. Many people wash their body every morning but carry yesterday's stress into the new day. They carry old arguments, old frustrations, old doubts, like carrying a heavy bag everywhere they go. Imagine starting your morning by picking up all the garbage of yesterday. That is what we do when we don't practice emotional hygiene. We try to move forward, but the weight of unresolved thoughts pulls us back. The mind becomes cluttered, and in a cluttered space, peace cannot sit comfortably. Cleaning the mind doesn't require any special tools. It only requires awareness. The first step is simply noticing what you're holding on to. Are you still upset about a conversation that ended hours ago? Are you still worried about something that didn't even happen yet? Are you still replaying an old memory that steals your joy? Awareness gently shines a light on these thoughts and makes us realize how much unnecessary weight we are carrying. Once we recognize the mess inside, the next step is to release it. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means allowing the emotion to pass instead of trapping it inside. Simple practices like deep breathing, journaling, praying, sitting quietly, or expressing gratitude act like a shower for the mind. Just a few minutes of these habits can wash away layers of tension. People often underestimate small practices. But even a glass of water washes dust off your hands. In the same way, a small moment of reflection can clean the mind. When we practice emotional hygiene daily, we also become more careful about what we allow inside. Just like we avoid touching dirty things after washing our hands, we begin to avoid negativity, gossip, unnecessary arguments, and overthinking. We create a boundary that protects our peace. This boundary is not about avoiding the world, it is about respecting ourselves. When you value your inner calm, you naturally become selective about the thoughts you entertain and the emotions you nourish. A clean mind also makes us more patient and kind. When we are mentally cluttered, even small things can irritate us. But when the mind is refreshed, we respond with understanding. We listen better, we think clearer, and our energy feels lighter. Emotional hygiene doesn't only benefit us, it benefits everyone around us. Our family feels it, our friends feel it, even strangers sense it. A calm inner world radiates outward. The beautiful thing is that emotional cleanliness is not complicated. It only needs consistency. Just as we don't skip brushing our teeth because we brushed yesterday, we shouldn't skip taking care of our mind because we felt calm yesterday. Peace is a daily ritual. Every morning before stepping into the world, take a moment to clear the dust of old thoughts. Every evening before going to bed, release the weight of the day. These small habits become a quiet sanctuary where your mind can rest. When you make emotional hygiene a part of your routine, life doesn't feel heavy anymore. The world may remain noisy, but inside there is a gentle, steady, unshakable calm. The mind behaves very much like a child. Curious, restless, easily distracted, and often running in directions that exhaust us. If we do not guide it with patience and awareness, it wanders into worry, overthinking, assumptions, fear, and unnecessary stress. Just like a child needs gentle training to learn discipline, the mind needs gentle training to learn peace. And the interesting thing is, the mind doesn't intentionally trouble us, it simply follows whatever habits we have allowed it to develop over time. If we constantly feed it fear, it becomes fearful. If we feed it chaos, it becomes chaotic. If we feed it calm, it becomes calm. The mind reflects whatever we nurture. Your mind, you observe your mind, you will notice that it jumps from one thought to another without pause. One thought reminds it of something else, which pulls up another memory, which triggers another emotion. And suddenly you find yourself mentally exhausted without doing anything physically. This restlessness is natural when the mind is untrained. Just like a child left alone in a supermarket touches everything, picks everything, and gets overwhelmed, the mind also touches every thought, picks every emotion, and gets overwhelmed. But when you lovingly guide a child, they slowly learn how to behave. Similarly, when you patiently guide the mind, it slowly learns how to stay steady. Training the mind does not mean suppressing thoughts or forcing silence. It means gently bringing it back whenever it wanders. Simple practices like mindful breathing, prayer, meditation, journaling, or even sitting quietly with awareness help the mind understand that it doesn't need to run all the time. These small practices act like holding a child's hand. They offer direction, comfort, and assurance. Over time, the mind learns to settle more quickly and more frequently. A trained mind becomes your greatest companion. It helps you stay calm in tension, focused in distractions, and balanced during challenges. But an untrained mind becomes your strongest enemy because it amplifies problems, multiplies stress, and distorts reality. The difference between peace and chaos often lies in whether your mind listens to you or whether you listen to your mind. When the mind is untrained, it drags you wherever it wants. When it is trained, it follows your guidance. Of course, no child becomes disciplined in a day, and neither does the mind. It makes mistakes, becomes restless, and falls back into old habits. But the answer is not frustration. The answer is patience. Every time you gently bring your mind back, you are strengthening it. Every time you remind it to focus on the present moment, you are training it. Every time you choose peace over reaction, you are educating it. Consistency transforms the mind far more than intensity. As the mind becomes more trained, you begin to notice a beautiful shift. You start responding to situations instead of reacting to them. You analyze emotions instead of drowning in them. You observe negativity without absorbing it. You stay centered even when people around you are chaotic. This is the quiet strength that a trained mind gives you. And when your mind carries this strength, your life becomes smoother, not because circumstances become easier, but because your inner world becomes stronger. Training the mind is truly one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It turns your inner world from a battlefield into a sanctuary. It teaches you that peace is not the absence of thoughts, but the ability to choose which thoughts deserve your attention. And once the mind learns this, it no longer runs toward what drains you, it walks toward what nourishes you. In life, we often search for big solutions, dramatic changes, and powerful techniques to bring peace into our minds. But the truth is far simpler. The mind doesn't calm down through massive occasional efforts. It calms down through small, consistent habits practiced every single day. Just as the strength of a tree comes not from one heavy rainfall, but from regular drops of water, our inner peace grows through gentle, steady practices. Small daily habits may seem insignificant at first, but they shape the entire foundation of our mental well-being. Many people try to fix their inner world only when they are overwhelmed. They wait for stress to reach the breaking point before they slow down. But by then, the mind is already tired, overloaded, and full of emotional clutter. Peace cannot be produced instantly like fast food. It requires nurturing, just as our physical health requires daily care. If someone eats healthy for one day and expects lifelong wellness, it makes no sense. Similarly, practicing calmness once in a while cannot create lasting peace. But practicing it daily, even in tiny doses, slowly transforms the entire landscape of the mind. It's not the size of the habit that matters, it's the repetition. A minute of deep breathing every morning, a few moments of silence before starting work, a short walk without your phone, or a simple act of gratitude at night. Each action is a small thread. Alone, a thread looks weak. But when woven together day after day, these threads form a strong rope that can hold your mind steady even during storms. The beauty of small habits is that they are easy to maintain. You don't need special training or a perfect environment. You only need intention and a little discipline. Small habits also accumulate in a way that surprises us. At first, you may not notice a big change, but slowly your reactions become softer, your thoughts become clearer, and your inner world becomes lighter. You begin to notice that situations which once irritate you no longer have the same effect. How come? You find it easier to pause before reacting, to forgive before overthinking, to breathe instead of panicking. These subtle improvements are the direct result of small habits practiced repeatedly. Another powerful thing about daily habits is that they reprogram the mind. The mind learns through repetition. If you repeatedly expose it to chaos, it becomes chaotic. If you repeatedly expose it to calmness, it becomes calm. This is why daily habits are more influential than occasional discipline. They gradually build new neurological pathways, new ways of thinking, new ways of responding, new ways of perceiving life. Over time, calmness becomes your natural state rather than something you seek only in difficult moments. Even the smallest habit has the power to shift your entire day. Oh. Imagine starting your morning with a moment of stillness instead of rushing into noise. Imagine pausing for a few slow breaths whenever stress arises. Imagine ending your day by releasing whatever burdens you instead of carrying them into sleep. These moments are not dramatic, but they are transformative. They teach the mind to slow down, to observe, to reset, and to rest. When we embrace small habits, we stop waiting for peace to arrive from the outside. We begin creating it from within. From within. And when peace becomes a daily practice, it becomes a daily companion. The mind doesn't need pressure, it needs consistency. It doesn't need intensity, it needs nurturing. When we commit to small habits every day, calmness stops being a distant wish. It becomes a natural part of who we are, quietly shaping our life one gentle moment at a time. Taking a few minutes every morning to center yourself can change the entire direction of your day. Mornings are powerful not because they are filled with hours, but because they hold the first moments that set the tone for everything that follows. Just like the first note in a song influences the melody, the first moments of your day influence your energy, your thoughts, and your emotional state. When the mind begins the day scattered, stressed, or rushed, that energy follows you like a shadow. But when the day begins with stillness and intention, that calmness stays with you no matter how noisy the world becomes. Most people wake up and immediately step into chaos. They check messages, open social media, rush into work, or think about yesterday's problems. Before their feet even touch the floor, their mind has already traveled through 100 thoughts. And when the mind begins the day like this, It is like starting a race breathless. The day feels heavier, small irritations feel larger, and simple tasks feel overwhelming. But when you give yourself even a few minutes of mental space, something shifts. Your mind becomes clearer, your breathing becomes deeper, and your thoughts become more organized. These few minutes don't need to be complicated or dramatic. They don't require special techniques or perfect silence. Simply sitting quietly, closing your eyes, and breathing slowly can be enough. These minutes are not about doing something extraordinary. They are about reconnecting with yourself before connecting with the world. When you ground yourself in the morning, you create an inner foundation that remains steady throughout the day. It becomes easier to handle surprises, easier to respond instead of react, and easier to stay patient in challenging situations. Centering yourself in the morning is like aligning the wheels of a car. If the alignment is right, the journey feels smooth and effortless. But if the alignment is off, even small bumps feel harsh and uncomfortable. Our mind works the same way. A centered mind moves through the day with flow, even in difficulty. A scattered mind finds friction everywhere, even in simple tasks. Just a few minutes of centering realigns your thoughts, emotions, and intentions so that you move through the day with clarity rather than confusion. These morning moments also allow you to check in with your emotional state. Sometimes we wake up carrying stress from the previous day without realizing it. Sometimes we wake up with unspoken worries hiding beneath the surface. Taking a quiet moment helps you become aware of what you're feeling. Awareness doesn't erase emotions, but it prevents them from controlling you unconsciously. When you begin the day knowing what's happening inside you, you are better prepared to handle the outside world. Another beautiful benefit of morning centering is that it creates space for gratitude. When the mind slows down, you naturally start noticing small blessings, your breath, your home, your family, your opportunities. This shift from worry to gratitude has a profound effect. A grateful mind becomes lighter, more peaceful, and more open. And this energy gently influences how you speak, how you think, how you behave, and how you treat others throughout the day. These few morning minutes may seem small, but their impact is powerful. They protect your peace, strengthen your patience, and remind you that you are in control of your inner world. When you begin your day centered, you carry a quiet strength with you, a strength that doesn't depend on circumstances but comes from within. And that inner strength slowly transforms not just your mornings, but your whole life. True peace does not depend on the outside world. It doesn't wait for perfect situations, ideal people, or flawless timing. Peace grows from the inside quietly and steadily. When we learn to stop searching for calmness in things that constantly change. Many people believe that they will find peace when their life becomes easier, when problems disappear, when relationships improve, when work becomes lighter, or when success finally arrives. But life is unpredictable, people are imperfect, and circumstances shift like the weather. If our peace depends on external stability, then our peace will always be fragile. Real peace comes from within, from a place untouched by the noise of the world. Every day, the world gives us countless reasons to feel disturbed. Traffic, misunderstandings, delays, disappointments, rude behavior from others, unexpected tasks, or even small inconveniences. If we let every situation decide our emotional state, then we hand over our power to the world. It's like giving someone else the remote control to your mind. One wrong button and suddenly you feel anxious, angry, or overwhelmed. But when peace comes from within, external noise cannot shake you so easily. You learn to respond consciously rather than react impulsively. Inner peace begins the moment you stop expecting the world to behave exactly as you want it to. People will not always speak kindly. Plans will not always unfold perfectly. Circumstances will not always support your timing, and that is okay. Peace grows when we understand that life is not supposed to be perfect. It is supposed to be lived with awareness. When you stop resisting what is happening and start accepting it with grace, the mind releases tension automatically. Peace also deepens when we stop seeking validation from others. Many times we lose our calm because we allow other people's opinions to define our mood. A single comment can ruin our morning. A small criticism can make us doubt ourselves. But when peace comes from within, you no longer depend on external approval to feel good. You understand your worth, you value your journey, and you stay centered even when others don't understand you. Peace becomes your inner anchor, not a prize given by someone else. Another reason why inner peace is powerful is because it teaches the mind to stay present. Most of our stress comes from thinking too much about the past or worrying too much about the future. The mind drags us into old memories or takes us into imaginary problems. But the present moment is usually peaceful. What disturbs us is the mind's habit of living everywhere except here. When peace comes from within, you gently bring your attention back to this moment. You breathe, you observe, you detach from the thoughts that pull you away from yourself. Slowly, your inner world becomes quieter, softer, and more grounded. When peace is internal, you also develop resilience. Challenges still come, but they don't break you. You bend without collapsing. You feel emotions without drowning in them. You face difficulties without losing yourself in them. The strength does not come from avoiding problems. It comes from having a stable inner foundation that remains intact no matter what is happening around you. Real peace is not found in a perfect life. It is found in a balanced mind. It is not something the world gives you. It is something you cultivate within yourself. And the more you nurture this inner calmness, the more the outer world begins to feel manageable, gentle, and less threatening. Peace becomes your constant companion. Not because life becomes easy, but because you become strong from within. When your mind is calm, almost everything in your life begins to transform without you forcing anything. Calmness influences your words, your decisions, your behavior, and even the atmosphere you carry into your relationships. A calm mind does not mean a mind without thoughts. It simply means a mind that chooses with attention. And when your inner world becomes peaceful, your outer world naturally begins to reflect that peace. People feel safer around you, conversations become smoother, and misunderstandings reduce significantly. Not because the world has changed, but because you are approaching it with clarity instead of chaos. When the mind is restless, even small things feel exaggerated. A simple question from someone can sound like a criticism. A minor inconvenience can feel like a major problem. A slight delay can trigger frustration. But when you are calm, your perception changes. You pause before reacting. You think before speaking. And your emotions become more balanced. This pause is powerful. It gives you the space to choose your response instead of letting impulse take over. And that one moment of control prevents countless unnecessary problems. Calmness also softens your communication. Words spoken from a peaceful mind carry respect, understanding, and warmth. Words spoken from a disturbed mind often carry irritation, judgment, or defensiveness. Many relationships suffer not because of big betrayals, but because of small, careless words said at the wrong time. A calm mind helps you express yourself more lovingly and listen more attentively. It allows you to hear what the other person is truly saying rather than what your emotions assume. This simple shift can turn arguments into conversations and misunderstandings into deeper connections. Decision-making also becomes clearer when your mind is calm. A stressed mind rushes into choices influenced by fear, pressure, or overthinking. But a peaceful mind evaluates things with logic and intuition working together. You start seeing solutions instead of problems, possibilities instead of limitations. You don't act out of panic, you act out of wisdom. Many wrong decisions in life come from a mind in turmoil. Many right decisions come from a mind that has taken even a few quiet moments before deciding. Calmness also flows into your energy, and others begin to feel it. When you walk into a room with a restless mind, your tension spreads unintentionally. People sense your irritation or anxiety, even if you don't express it. But when you carry a calm presence, you become a source of comfort for others. People feel understood around you. They feel respected, not judged. Peaceful energy is silent, but it has a profound impact. You don't need to announce it, people feel it. When your mind is calm, you also gain emotional independence. The behavior of others no longer controls your mood. You stop reacting to every comment, every attitude, every tone. Instead of letting small things disturb you, you let them pass the same way clouds pass across the sky without disturbing the sky itself. This emotional stability makes you stronger and more resilient. It prevents you from wasting energy on things that do not deserve your attention. Calmness also makes your presence more valuable. People trust those who remain steady in difficult moments. They feel inspired by those who can stay composed under pressure. Peace becomes a silent leadership. Your calmness teaches others how to handle life with grace. As your mind becomes calmer, your relationships become warmer, your choices become wiser, and your presence becomes a blessing. This inner stillness becomes a shield that protects your peace and a light that illuminates your path. And through this calmness, your entire life begins to feel more meaningful, more gentle, and more aligned with who you truly are. Your peace is your personal responsibility, and this understanding can change the way you experience life. Many people unknowingly place the control of their emotional state in the hands of others. They allow someone's bad mood to ruin their day, someone's opinion to lower their confidence, someone's actions to disturb their inner calm. But when you hand over your peace to others, you are giving them the power to dictate how you feel. This creates a life full of emotional instability because people and situations are unpredictable. True stability begins when you take ownership of your inner world and no longer let external events control your mental state. Every day, you will encounter people who behave unfairly, circumstances that disrupt your plans, and moments that challenge your patience. But none of these have the ability to disturb you unless you allow them to. Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the ability to remain centered even in noise. It is the strength to choose your response instead of being pushed into a reaction. When you understand that your peace comes from within, you stop blaming others for how you feel. You recognize that no one can disturb your inner space without your permission. Taking responsibility for your peace does not mean ignoring your emotions or pretending everything is fine. It means managing your emotions with awareness. It means recognizing when someone's words are affecting you, when stress is rising, or when your patience is thinning, and choosing to step back instead of allowing the moment to control you. The moment you decide, I will not let this external situation dictate my internal state, you begin to take back your power. Often we wait for the world to change so we can feel peaceful. We hope people will behave better, speak gently, understand us, support us, or treat us fairly. But peace cannot depend on how others behave. You cannot expect people to avoid triggering you just so you can stay calm. You cannot expect life to align perfectly with your preferences. The world will always have challenges, but you can choose how much space you give those challenges in your mind. When you take responsibility for your peace, you also become more selective about what you allow into your life. You create emotional boundaries. You stop engaging in unnecessary arguments, you avoid gossip, you step away from negativity, and you choose not to absorb the energy of people who constantly complain or criticize. You protect your mental space just as carefully as you protect your home. If you would not allow someone to walk into your house and create a mess, why allow them to walk into your mind and do the same? Owning your peace also means understanding that healing is your responsibility. You may not be responsible for what hurt you, but you are responsible for how you move forward. You are responsible for choosing forgiveness, for letting go of what no longer serves you, and for nurturing the thoughts that bring you strength rather than fear. Healing is not about changing the past. It is about not allowing the past to steal your peace today. When you take charge of your emotional state, life becomes lighter. You stop fighting battles that are not yours. You stop reacting to things that don't matter in the long run. You begin to respond from a place of calm rather than chaos. This inner maturity brings a quiet confidence, an unshakable sense of peace that does not depend on who likes you, who understands you, or who agrees with you. Your peace is your responsibility, not because others don't affect you, but because only you can protect your inner world. And once you learn to guard that peace, the world outside may remain noisy, but inside, there will always be a place that stays still, strong, and peaceful. Practicing simple daily habits helps you breathe better, think better, and live more mindfully. And the impact of these small routines is far greater than most people realize. Life is full of distractions, noise, and endless tasks. And when we do not pause to nurture ourselves, the mind becomes restless and the body becomes fatigued. Simple daily habits, those small, consistent actions that focus on calmness and awareness, act like tiny anchors that keep us grounded in the chaos. Over time, these anchors strengthen and suddenly breathing becomes deeper, thinking becomes clearer, and living becomes intentional rather than reactive. One of the most immediate benefits of daily calming habits is the ability to breathe better. Breathing is often taken for granted. Yet it is the foundation of our life force and emotional state. When the mind is stressed, the breath becomes shallow, irregular, and tight. This shallow breathing feeds the nervous system with tension and anxiety. But when you consciously pause, focus on a few deep breaths, or practice even a short breathing exercise every day, your body and mind both begin to relax. The lungs expand fully, the heart rate slows, and the mind becomes more present. Few mindful breaths are enough to bring a sense of stability. And over time, this practice rewires the body to stay calmer, even in stressful situations. Better thinking is another powerful result of simple daily habits. A cluttered mind cannot solve problems effectively, and scattered thoughts create unnecessary stress. But when you consistently practice moments of reflection, journaling, meditation, or quiet awareness, the mind learns to filter thoughts. You begin to notice which thoughts are helpful and which are not. You start responding with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. Your decisions become wiser because you are able to assess situations with focus instead of being overwhelmed by emotions. The habit of daily mental stillness gradually sharpens your judgment, enhances creativity, and increases emotional intelligence. Living mindfully is perhaps the most transformative effect of daily habits. When life is rushed, we tend to operate on autopilot, eating quickly, talking without listening, working without awareness, and moving through moments without truly being present. Simple daily practices like pausing to notice your surroundings, appreciating small blessings, or reflecting for a few minutes each day train the mind to live in the present. Mindfulness allows you to enjoy life more fully, to respond to challenges gracefully, and to find contentment in small moments. Over time, life becomes less about surviving and more about consciously experiencing each day. The beauty of these habits is in their simplicity and accessibility. You don't need special equipment, expensive courses, or hours of free time. Even a 5-minute morning meditation, a few deep breaths before lunch, or a quiet reflection before bed can create remarkable change. The key is consistency. When repeated daily, these small actions accumulate into profound mental strength and emotional stability. They act like invisible scaffolding, supporting your well-being and keeping the mind calm and focused amidst life's ups and downs. Another hidden benefit of these simple habits is that they ripple outward into every area of life. When you breathe better, your body feels healthier and more energized. When you think better, your relationships improve because your responses are thoughtful rather than reactive. When you live more mindfully, you notice joy in ordinary experiences and you approach challenges with composure. Small daily habits not only transform your inner world but also create a positive impact on your interactions, decisions, and overall life experience. Ultimately, the practice of small daily habits teaches a profound truth. Peace and clarity are not results of external circumstances, they are cultivated from within. Each day offers an opportunity to take care of your mind, body, and soul. Every intentional moment of calm, reflection, or mindful presence strengthens our ability to handle life with ease. And over time, what begins as a few simple habits evolves into a lifestyle where breathing, thinking, and living become aligned, balanced, and deeply fulfilling. These small daily actions quietly reshape the quality of your life, helping you move through the world with calmness, wisdom, and grace.